Hey everyone. Have you ever had that feeling where your website just seems to be stuck in slow motion? Yeah, you're definitely not alone. Today, we're going to talk about that moment, that critical point every website owner hits when you know it's time to get out of the slow lane and really upgrade your hosting. We have all been there, right? Your site used to be so fast, and now it feels like it's wading through molasses. Pages take forever to load, and you keep getting these warnings about hitting your resource limits. It's super frustrating, but it's also a really clear sign that your hosting just can't keep up with how awesome you've become.
And the usual suspect here is shared hosting. Look, it's a fantastic place to start, but it's kind of like living in a big, crowded apartment building. You're all sharing the same utilities, so when your neighbor decides to blast their music at 2 a.m., guess what? The whole building feels it. Eventually, you just gotta get your own place.
So what is that upgrade? What's your own private place on the web? Well, it's called a virtual private server, or VPS. And don't worry about the techie name, because we're going to break it down with a super simple analogy that's going to make it all click, I promise. Okay, so think of shared hosting like a busy youth hostel. Sure, it's cheap and gets the job done, but you're sharing a dorm with a bunch of noisy neighbors who are all hogging the Wi-Fi at the same time. Now, a VPS, that's like getting your own private condo in that same building. You've got your own space, your own dedicated resources, your own Wi-Fi, basically, and total freedom to decorate it any way you want. No more noisy neighbors. So, the big question is, who's ready to trade in that hostel key for a shiny new condo key? Let's take a look at a few types of power users and see if you recognize yourself.
First up, growing businesses. Your traffic is finally climbing. That's amazing. The absolute last thing you want is for all those new visitors to be greeted by a spinning loading icon. A VPS gives you your own dedicated resources and ridiculously fast NVMe storage. Just think of it as a supercharged hard drive, so your site stays lightning fast and responsive no matter how famous you get. Next, let's talk e-commerce stores. For you guys, every single second of loading time can literally mean a lost sale. A slow, clunky online store is costing you real money, plain and simple. A VPS is built from the ground up to handle massive product catalogs and keep transactions secure with rock-solid uptime, so you can focus on what you do best, selling. Now, for all the agencies and freelancers out there juggling a dozen client sites, a VPS is an absolute game changer. You get what's called root access, which is just a fancy way of saying you have full control over the server. Plus, you get staging environments. Think of them as sandboxes, where you can safely test changes before they go live. It gives you all the power and flexibility you need to manage a bunch of complex sites without them tripping over each other. And of course, for all my tech-savvy friends who just love to get under the hood and tinker, a VPS is your personal playground. You want to fine-tune performance, deploy some custom applications, build a completely unique server setup from scratch? A VPS hands you the keys to the entire kingdom, offering a level of control that shared hosting can only dream about. And let's be real for a second. Who here doesn't hate downtime? That horrible sinking feeling in your stomach when you get an alert that your site is offline? Ugh. A quality VPS provider like InMotion uses a whole network of servers to make sure that doesn't happen. It's all about keeping you online, so your site is always there when your visitors need it. And speaking of quality providers, let's talk for a minute about InMotion's approach. They get that a great VPS is about so much more than just a list of specs. It's the whole experience, and they boil it down to 3 key things: performance, people, and power. So what do those 3 Ps actually mean for you? Well, performance means your site is blazingly fast, thanks to their top-of-the-line storage and US-based data centers. People, that means when you need help, you actually get to talk to a real, live human who knows what they're doing. And power, that means you get the freedom to build whatever you can imagine without hitting frustrating limits. And here's the really crucial part. It's all about finding that perfect sweet spot. You want a platform that's powerful enough for the experts, but is still easy to use for someone who's just leveling up from shared hosting for the first time. It's about getting serious muscle without all the complexity. And that really brings us to our final and I think most important point. It's about completely reframing how you think about your website and the hosting that powers it. Here it is. This is the big takeaway. For any serious project or business, your website isn't just a digital flyer anymore. It's the engine that drives your entire operation. And that engine needs the right kind of fuel. Sticking with shared hosting is like trying to run a race car on regular unleaded gas. It's just not going to work.
So, I'll just leave you with this one question. Is your website just a business card, or is it the engine of your ambition? If it's your engine, isn't it about time you gave it the power it truly deserves? Think about it. Now go build something amazing.